I'm here with Mitt Man Macka Foley at Fortune Gym on Sunset. As usual, we're going to step in with Macka and talk about the recent events in boxing. Obviously, you're a legend, Macka. You've seen all kind of things in the ring, inside and out, really. And recently, we've had quite a bit of controversy in this sport. Taking it back a couple weeks, fights that the scorecards do not reflect what the fans saw in the arena and on the television. He talked to me about scoring in this sport, and does it need to be cleaned up? What can we do to fix it? Or do you think that it's all right and it's just one of those things that's perception?
Well, I don't want to blame anyone in boxing for the decisions, except maybe the judges. I think anything that's illegal, it all starts in the race books. Some gambler got a hold of somebody, and they gave the fight to Bradley. But at the same time, every time I talk to someone, the more they watch the fight, the closer Bradley came to winning it. But they still say Bradley lost. But the fight was closer a couple weeks after the fight than it was immediately following the fight. Who knows? Maybe the gamblers were upset that bet on Pacquiao. Whatever.
It's true that some people did feel like they saw a different fight the second time around, but most of them said they did that because they turned the sound off. You think there's anything to that? The commentators may be influencing people's opinion, and they think they're looking at what the commentators are talking about?
Well, some people, but anybody that knows boxing, and they can see that they can tell right away how they feel. They don't go by what the guy talking, what Teddy Atlas or Hopkins, whoever's doing the announcing. I don't believe that.
Well, one thing about this sport is it is a tough, heart-driven. Of course, it's a science, it's a skill, but the fans are unrelenting and unforgiving for a guy who gives up in the ring. Now, one thing Bradley didn't do, he didn't give up. He fought, the entire round for the 12 rounds. Some people feel like Pacquiao maybe only came in, fought half a round. But recently we had Victor Ortiz, who has officially now proven that his jaw was broken, but he was 3 rounds away. He could have went into the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th to finish a fight that he most likely would have won had he got to the end of it, but he decided to quit on his stool. First of all, how does that strike you, a guy not coming out, answering the bell? And is that a legitimate reason to stay on your stool having a broken jaw?
Well, first of all, the kid's a good fighter. You can't take anything away from him. And it's all the degrees of broken jaws. I mean, you might have a little fracture, like Norton had a broken jaw against Ali, and he went the distance. But this guy's jaw, that was like the worst break I've ever seen in a fight. It was so obvious. His jaw was just hanging there. So I think he had a smart move by quitting, because he could have went out there and ended his whole career in that last round and really get hurt and the health issues and all that. So I thought he did the right thing. I think he's a good fighter, and I think he'll be better the next time out.
Now let me ask you something a little bit technical about the sport. You work the mitts every day. You work them with world champions and weekend warriors. When a guy starts to get into his 30s, for instance, like Mayweather, a guy with that much talent, that much skill, and then he runs up against Cotto, and he doesn't seem to have the movement anymore. He can stand and fight and still win, but he doesn't seem to be moving around the ring. Is that something that you can avoid? Is there any way that you could take even a talent like Mayweather and turn back the hands of time, keep his feet moving that quickly?
Yeah, you can get him to turn. It's all of who the opponent is. Now, this opponent, he knows he didn't have to work that hard. He's so talented. He didn't have to show, and he let Cotto in a little. Let him prove that I can take it too, and I can fight in the hole. I can fight in the pocket. So he was doing all that. But do I think Mayweather's super talented still? Well, he's not as talented as he was 5 years ago, but he's smarter than he was 5 years ago. And I think that averages out, and it makes it he's still a pretty complete fighter.
Now, before I let you go, we're right here on Sunset Boulevard, the famed Sunset Boulevard, and you are the famed Macka Foley. You got to tell me a little bit about what you're doing out in Hollywood now, what's coming up next for you on that end of your career.
Well, I'm just playing it by ear. I'm hoping I get to hear from James Franco again. He's the big actor that I work with, and he usually takes me on a couple of movie shoots with him. But if not, I'm in the gym. I'm working with guys, working with writers. Today I work with Steve Kim. You know, I work with different guys. I don't want to work with fighters anymore unless I have him from like the amateur stage of his career, and I can really help him. But otherwise, you're just, you know, going through the motions.
Well, in addition to me being able to track you down every now and then and get your insight on this great sport of boxing, I've been hearing on the wire that documentary films have been shot. You've been included in those. You know, people are really starting to pay tribute and homage to what you've done in this sport and in this city. So if you want to talk a little bit about that, you can. But I would like the people to know that they need to look out and watch for these boxing documentaries, because Macka Foley is going to be appearing in quite a bit of them.
Yeah, look out for the documentaries. But hey, I'm looking for people to come in the gym, just want to lose weight, want to feel good about themselves. I get more joy out of that than working with fighters, because I don't like the fight game. I really don't. I mean, I like fighters and I like trainers, but everybody else is just okay, I guess.
Radio Raheem here with Mitt Man Macka Foley, Fortune Gym, Sunset Boulevard.